One of the most common questions asked in the Scrum Master interview is, what is empiricism? We are going to tackle just that. So what is empiricism? Empiricism, the origin of this word is not from Scrum. This is a philosophical word which came as a philosophy of science. That means anything, any hypothesis, any theory that we have must be tested. And we are going to rely on the fact, evidence, and experience, right? So what we are going to talk about here in Scrum is that how empiricism drives Scrum. So when an interviewer asks you a question that what is empiricism, talk about how fact-based and evidence-based framework Scrum is. For example, if you decide something about a sprint goal on your sprint planning, after the sprint is over, what do you have? You have the test, you have the evidence now to see whether whatever you planned was the result, is it aligning with what you have planned, or is it something else? Do you need to change your plan based on that fact, based on that evidence, or do you have to have a different kind of path going forward? Now, this is not only about the sprint goal. Remember, the fact-based phenomena of Scrum is on a different level. It can be with the retrospectives, with the team bonding, how the management is working, how the leadership is working, whether you're getting enough support or not. Everything depends on the empiricism. Now, if you really are doing Scrum, if you have 3 roles, if you are following all the ceremonies, that does not guarantee any success of Scrum unless you have an empirical process. Now, the Scrum says that there are 3 pillars of empiricism. 1, transparency. 2, inspection. 3rd is adaptation. What does it mean? That means if you really want to look into, if you really want to have an empirical process, you need to be transparent, top to bottom. Everybody in the organization must have a transparency system at place. So the leadership or the product owner or the Scrum Master, anyone involved in the organization must not have a hidden agenda. The hidden agenda could be detrimental to Scrum success. So ensure that we have a transparent process. The second is about inspection. Now, what happens when you have a transparent process? Of course, if you have a clean, transparent process, you will have an opportunity to inspect it. It could be through retrospective, it could be through different other feedback loops, whichever way you want. Scrum does not stop you to have different other feedback loops. So the inspection would help you to recognize the problems that are being uncovered by Scrum. Now, Scrum, remember, never fixes your problem. It exposes your problem. You do solve your problem. Your team does. The people do solve the problem. So with that, you will have enough evidence to understand what's going on. The inspection gives you all those problems that you have in your hand. And now once we have problems, once you have acknowledged it, what do you have? You have an action plan to work on those. With your action plan, what you're going to do, you are going to adapt to the new possibilities. You're going to adapt to the new challenges. You're going to adapt to the new rules that you're going to create for yourself, the new agreement, the new team agreement that you're going to create for yourself. And by this, you are following that path of empiricism, which says that any hypothesis or any theory cannot be taken on in the form of, or in the value of rationals or intuitions, right? It needs to be tested and it must be proven by fact and evidence, and that's what exactly Scrum does. So if anybody asks you what is empiricism in Scrum, tell them it is the soul of Scrum, because without empiricism you are not going anywhere, no matter what you do. Stay tuned. This is the first video for the Scrum Master interview series. I'm going to cover many more questions that are being asked. I'm also covering another series for Kanban. Do subscribe this channel to know more. Put down your comments below and like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.